Hi, this is Lou Harty from 21st Century TV. Today I'm joined by a wealth strategist, financial educator and a sports science guru, Mr. John Bigatton. Hi John, and welcome today.
Thank you, Lou. My pleasure to be here with you.
Actually, I believe that you've just come back from overseas and I've brought you here to this beautiful cold Melbourne weather. So what have you been doing in LA? You've been in LA, right?
I just came back from LA, yes. Spent some time over there with friends and with Nick. And we just travelled around, went past Disneyland. I didn't get a chance to go in there, but next time I'll take my family with me.
You went to America and didn't go to Disneyland? Bet your kids hate that. Right, guys, today what we're going to be talking to John about is, he's a financial educator, but primarily we're going to be talking to him about trading financial markets and what makes someone successful at trading, how they understand trading, risk management, psychology, and things like that. So, John, you're with Financial Freedom Institute, which we'll talk a little bit about that in a moment. But let's talk, tell us a little bit about your life and how you sort of went from, doing what you were doing before, which was sports science, I believe,
yes,
into the field of trading financial markets.
Okay, Lou, well, essentially what happened was I started off in pathology. That was my first degree, and it was just a matter of, okay, do I really want to stay in this, talking to machines, testing blood analysis, doing blood analysis and what have you, or move into assisting people? But the first obstacle I had to overcome was myself. Okay, well, that was the first thing. And that's where the sports science degree my science degree first taught me about the body. And from there I moved on to other degrees such as my sports science degree, which allowed me to enhance my knowledge and make changes to myself that then I can then pass on to others. So
from a previous conversation, you said that when you went to uni, you got into sports science and stuff, yes, like that, but you were a fat kid. Is that true?
Well, you could say fat kid would probably be an understatement. It was beyond that. I guess I was the individual, the child that was rejected more often than not, because I was essentially clinically obese.
Wow.
Yeah, I was clinically obese pretty much all the way through school. I was picked on and what have you. It was more of a very traumatic emotional experience more than anything, but I had to deal with it. And it was essentially towards the end of the first year of university that one of my colleagues said to me, look, I'll help you out here. We'll utilize the knowledge that we've gained from our studies, and we'll take you through and get you to overcome the obesity.
So how long did that take from you deciding that you acknowledged that you're a fat kid, and the pressures that a teenager would experience anyway, particularly at university with that peer pressure and stuff like that. So at what point, or what was your turning point? Was it that gentleman that said to you that, look, you're overweight, you could be far better than what you are based off, having that internal confidence as well as you wanting to succeed?
Well, look, for those people that go to university and socialise a lot, they get to see a lot of individuals having fun, enjoying themselves, going dancing or what have you. And I was always the one that was held back because I couldn't break into those groups. So the decision was made, stay as I am and suffer the long-term consequences, both emotionally and physically, or take action upon myself, be guided and make the difference for myself, and then potentially anybody else that comes into my life in the future. Did you find that had a flow-on effect once you sort of made a decision and you went, okay, look, I'm overweight, I really need to do something about this? Did you find that your peers were supportive and that sort of started to flow on with the people that wanted to help you and get you to where you wanted to be? It was massive. It was massive because people saw what I was to what I've become in such a short period. Essentially, in 10 weeks, without really doing anything different except training, I dropped 12 kilos. All right, it was just
except training. So you were doing something.
I had to, so nutrition-wise, nutrition-wise, didn't do anything. It was just the fact that I started to apply more movement in my life, which is physical training. And it was weight training, and that made the biggest difference, because then all of a sudden girls started coming into my life. Yes. and then it continued on from there, and it built my confidence.
So let's fast forward a bit then. All right, you've come out of uni, you've lost this weight, you look great.
Thank you.
You've got that confidence. So then I believe you got into sport, like elitism, sports training, strength
Yes.
conditioning, etc.
Yeah, as the years went on, I got to the point where I wanted to then pass on a lot of my knowledge to others, just general individuals, and then I traveled overseas and educated myself further at the highest level that I could possibly go, became a strength and conditioning coach. And from there on, I trained a lot of elite athletes in a multitude of sports, such as state netball, soccer here in Australia, gymnastics. And yeah, it was a great time while I was doing it, and massive results in the individual. And I found that the majority of times, it wasn't so much the instructions I gave as far as the physical training and conditioning, it was more what was going on upstairs.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll talk a little bit about, you know, what gives you that strong mindset later on in the program. So from there, you're a fitness educator, and then you sort of got into, I think, a story you were telling me before, where you sort of wanted to supplement your income, and that's how initially you got into financial markets.
Yes, Lou, that's exactly right. Because I had my own business in the whole strength and conditioning rehabilitation world, if you wish, and I found that with those sorts of industries, especially when you're in your own business and you're running your own business, you are limited to how much you can actually generate.
Yes.
Because you're doing everything. And I thought to myself, okay, what else is there that I need to do to generate more cash flow to assist me in case there are no clients? Because when you're running a business, you are reliant on clients coming in an ongoing basis.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted something for myself where I can be doing something, which in this case happened to be on the financial markets, but I can do it from anywhere. And that was when my self-study began. And that was back in 1999, 2000.
And obviously, you know, having that passion with helping people, like through nutrition and health, and then you learning how to trade, you know, having that initial passion ignite, I guess, has allowed you to be the success that you are today. So, one, you look bloody fantastic. You know, it's hard to actually even think that you would have been obese, but, you know, when you do get those photos, feel free to...
I'll be sure to bring him in.
Because I'll actually promote those photos,
Oh, thank you.
you know, the before and after. But I bet your family are very proud of how you've come and how you've grown since then. Tell us about your family.
Okay, well,
Got some photos here of your family.
I've been married now pushing on to 20 years.
Congratulations!
Thank you. Yes, and it's been a phenomenal journey in the sense that when my wife and I, we met at university, okay, when I did my second of the degrees, and it wasn't so much love at first sight. It was like, For me, it was like, she'll do. And the reaction was, I don't like you. But one thing led to another, and here we are today. And we have two lovely daughters. One's 10.
They're beautiful.
That's Lara, and the other one is 5. And they're an absolute gem. Now, I noticed you have a picture in the background. The first one that's on my right.
Is that there?
Yep, that one there. That was taken roughly 3-4 years ago, and that now I'm going to be sharing something that's pretty close to me right at this point, just to let people know that everyone goes through challenges in life, and it's what you do with them that's going to make you stronger and allow you to grow. Back then, my wife unfortunately was diagnosed with breast cancer, and that photo there is essentially the time that she was diagnosed. We took our last holiday with the family before she went through the whole process of the medical side of things, medication. I won't go into all the details, but she's fine now. She's overcome all that. But it was a very, very tough period in our life, because it wasn't just the breast cancer that was there. It was the fact that we had 2 young kids.
Yeah.
I had to also manage my business, manage the project of my new house being developed, and also we were living at my mother-in-law's house. So it was a tough task, but a lot of people were saying at the time, why are you doing it? Why are you going on holidays for? Why are you continuing with the construction of your house? I said, listen, this is the choice between my wife and I, because it's our journey. It's a unit journey. And because we believed in each other and we believed in the outcome, and we knew what the outcome was going to be, it pulled us through it. It was tough on the kids, all right, especially my oldest. But now she's realised what's taken place, and she's grateful that we've come through it together, and she's a much happier person now than what she was before, as you can imagine. When Lara was old enough to actually understand what was going on.
Yeah, and a lot of people can relate to that, you know, when tragedy strikes in the home, you know, you've got to weigh up whether you put, you know, everything on hold, or do you just keep living? And, you know, ideally we would like to keep pushing forward and have that positive mental attitude that you know, if you stay together and stick together in a united force, then that you tend to overcome a lot more. So having a supportive family has been critical in your life and many people's lives. So it's good to hear that everything is now back A-OK.
Thank you.
You've got a very beautiful family. Your wife is gorgeous, and she fell in love with you when you were fat.
Well, no, that was actually afterwards. That was in my second of my 3 degrees, yes.
Well, I look forward to meeting her, because I've never met your family before, so I can't wait to meet her. So let's talk about some mentors that you've had, John. And, you know, a lot of people, they need mentors, they need coaches or people that are going to sort of push them to another level. So who were your mentors as you were growing up through your uni years and up to date? Because
through university, when I made the changes to myself, I then wanted to pursue my career in the health, fitness and well-being world. And I went looking for someone that at the elite level, the top of the creme de la creme, if you wish. And that was Paul Chek. Paul Chek, he made the difference to my life. There is nobody else that I can actually thank for the change that he's made to myself and my family, because my family did meet Paul, and it was just a blessing in disguise.
So for those who don't know Paul Chek?
For those that don't know him, he is a leader in as far as strength, conditioning, nutrition, spirituality. He's essentially combining the mind, body and spirit all in the one unit.
So this is a photo of him here.
That's it, yeah. He's look, he's in his 50s now, and he is as elite and as fit as what he was 10, 15 odd years ago, if not beyond. So he's guiding me in that perspective.
So fantastic. And then we move on to the people that have helped you with personal development, psychology, etc.
Personal development. As I was going through that period of time in the 2000 and beyond, I noticed that a lot of the work that I was doing with my clients, especially in the rehab world, was not the physical component. It was the mental component. It was things that I was saying to these people that made the changes. And I had to figure out, okay, what is it that I'm doing? Because I didn't know at the time, I wasn't aware of it. And then by dealing with different people and associating, one thing led to another, and I came across a gentleman by the name of Bob Proctor. And it was his guidance that allowed me to identify what exactly I was doing with all these individuals, that I was allowing them to progress and overcome the pain.
Yeah, Bob seems to be quite influential amongst most circles. He's a remarkable man. He's also one of the leading speakers for The Secret, and you know, he's had a massive impact on a lot of people's lives and the way they think. So we've got your fitness mentor.
Yes.
We've got your psychology, life coaching mentor. What about when you first at uni, or when you're starting a young family, you're wanting to learn how to trade financial markets? Who sort of influenced you back then?
Well, the interesting thing was that when I started my own business, and that was in strength and conditioning and rehab, it was a matter of saying, okay, what do I need to do now to increase cash flow? And that's when I started to look into the financial markets. But if I was to rewind the clock a little bit during the days of university, I saw these people that were doing it, like, for example, a degree in commerce or business or whatever it is, and they're reading the newspaper, and there's all microscopic writing with all these numbers. And I looked at that and I was fascinated, but it was too much effort in trying to understand what all this was about, so I let it be. And when I did start my own business, I had time, and I went through and I started looking at the newspapers, and I understood what the numbers were, and I started plotting these numbers on charts, and then all of a sudden I started getting some images. And from there on, I delved further to identify, okay, how do I read the markets? How do I listen to what's going on? Who is an individual that I can study and become aware of what's going on. And that individual was W.D. Gann. And most people will probably know of W.D. Gann if they are deep into commodities, for example. He's just a fascinating individual.
Yeah, exactly. And it's interesting that you say, like, when you do open the newspapers, like the Fin Review or the Australian, Saturday Morning Australian, and you do see these people opening up these pages and you're going, what are they looking at? It's like a completely different language. And, you know, when I first got into trading, is exactly that. I was inquisitive about how the hell these people could understand what was going on there. But I felt like I was missing out. Why didn't I understand? I understood every other aspect of the paper, except these pulls and, puts and calls and all these numbers and all these, what do they represent? So, so it's amazing how that skill has come out of, you wanting to know that. And it's put you onto one of the leading, investors of this century. So, W.G. Gann. So, what wasn't Mr. Fibonacci? He would have been influential in there.
Oh, look, Mr. Fibonacci. Look, I could go on and on and on about Fibonacci or Leonardo de Bonacci.
Yeah. You are Italian too, aren't you?
Yes.
It's something that I found out only 2 seconds before the interview.
That's right. But yeah, Fibonacci is, I guess, a lot of people look at Fibonacci as an indicator. It's not. It's another tool that can be utilized, and it's all based on natural square numbers.
Yeah.
And it's fascinating. I can talk days on that, but I won't. But
that could be for another episode, just on Fibonacci.
Yes, it could be.
Okay, so now we're. What about this man, Mr. Greg Secker?
Oh well, look. All right. What happened there was, it was all fine and good, me being involved in trading the stock market and then going and doing the derivatives such as option trading or what have you. That was all good, but I need an adrenaline rush, and I needed something that was faster. And I thought, okay, well, Forex, because Forex was starting to come out and people wanted to get involved, and I was just too afraid. At that point in time, I was too afraid to enter Forex because all I heard was high risk, high risk, high risk. And if it's high risk, I don't want to go and be putting my money into something that I'm going to lose, right?
Exactly, good point.
So it was just one particular day, I went to a presentation, and it was about trading Forex and how you can actually minimize and manage your risk. And what I then joined the program because I wanted this. I wanted it. And the fact that all I took away was how to manage my risk, that was enough.
Yes.
Because I knew how to read charts. That was enough. That's all I needed. I was so excited.
Yeah.
Thanks to Greg.
And look, Greg's got 20-year history of successful trading on the European markets, particularly Forex is his strength, and that was one of the things that I loved, is that you guys are only risking 1%. So we'll talk about trading Forex shortly. But this gentleman here, Nick Halleck, which is a big mentor of many traders, particularly in Australian circles. 10-year history here.
Yes. Look, Nick is just on another level altogether. Nick and I cross paths for the very fact that many of you may probably know that there are individuals that have what is known as parallel lives. Okay? And some may call that, when someone cross paths, they may call it coincidence. Well, I'm a believer that there's no such thing as coincidence, because if you have heard Deepak Chopra, he specifically says that there is no such thing as coincidence. It's just a number of coincidences occurring at the same time.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And Nick's mentors and my mentors were identical. Nick's financial education and my financial education, or the people that he went through, were also identical. So Lou, all I could say was just a matter of time.
Yeah,
I put it out in the cosmos that I wanted to be someone that's going to shape and mold my future and carry me forward, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, well, Jamie McIntyre loves to share that saying, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. And it seems that throughout your life, the mentors that have come along right when they're needed have fit in perfectly. Yes. So that's amazing. So.